It's a film, sir.
Oh, it's a film?
Film.
Oh, about what?
Well, right there. There's the title.
Find out what you can do. Direct action, more than just photos.
Oh, the ticket we just asked for a Canadian donation is usually $1.
Yeah.
Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you're also interested as well, like, you know, you gave us 2. You can have a paper. It's got some of our perspectives. We discussed Me Too. We discussed Israel. CS paper. Yeah, thank you. What? No, that's not our paper. This is our paper. Look at that graphic design. I think that's beautiful.
Look at the colors, man.
Yeah.
The colors of theirs are all dull. Ours are beautiful.
Well, they are. So this guy, Lenin, I recognize the guy.
Would you like to pick up one?
No, I'm talking about Lenin.
Yeah.
Well, what is he doing here? In America, Lenin, really?
Yeah, but it's like, you know, he was able, like, we discussed perspectives of the October Revolution of how, like, basically they were able to, like, organize a mass movement against the Tsar, for instance, that was killing, you know, peasants and workers.
Who Tsar was killing?
Yeah, the Tsar, yeah.
Oh, what did Lenin do?
Yeah, Lenin, well, he was trying to organize mass movements of people, for instance, working people to lead on a revolution. You know, we discussed the importance of that.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, didn't Lenin kill people too?
Well, not really Lenin, but it's like definitely afterwards he degenerated with like Stalinism and stuff like that, and that's something like we're incredibly critical of, and we don't support what happened afterwards.
After Lenin.
Yeah, exactly. So
But
it's like that's that's something we discuss in there.
Interesting. But as far as I remember, the Red Terror was kind of his thing, no?
Oh, yeah.
The Red Terror.
You wrote a book about it. Defending it. Yep.
Yeah, the Red Terror.
But the Red Terror was only in response to the White Terror. The White Terror came first.
So the whites, they were the ones who started it first.
Right. Well, basically, the whites started trying to re-enslave all the peasants as they pushed in from Kazan towards Moscow. That generated the Red Terror. It was a response to the brutality of the white officers who would kill all the civilians who wouldn't obey them.
So, but Lenin was kind of nice guy who...
No, he wasn't. He was definitely not a nice guy.
He was not a nice guy.
No.
So
He's in politics, man. There are no nice people in politics.
I got it. So in other words, he killed people, the whites killed people.
No, Lenin didn't kill people.
I mean Lenin, right? And the
Red Army killed people.
The Red Army.
Yeah,
But it was Lenin.
What armies do.
But what is Lenin's? It was Lenin. I mean, look, there was Tsarist Russia, for better or for worse. I mean, the Tsarist, the Nicholas II. You know. So I mean, there was Stolypin reforms. Things started moving in the right direction.
Oh, no, sorry. I thought that... Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a socialist capitalist, you know.
What?
It's a socialist capitalist. Can't get it for free.
Oh.
Just
Fair
kidding.
enough. I saw him handing them out over there. I thought they were free.
Union labor ain't free, man. I'll tell you what. Sorry, you were saying that?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of justify, it seems like, I don't know, Lenin's response to the whites' brutality. But it was Lenin who started the whole revolution thing. There was a February Revolution, then there was October Revolution.
But Lenin didn't start the February Revolution.
No, he didn't. But the February Revolution was essentially bloodless.
It was essentially bloodless.
Right.
So the Kerensky offensive.
Kerensky. Which one was that?
The Kerensky offensive. That was the offensive launched by the provisional government, wherein the crumbling Russian army was supposed to go up against the Austrians and the Germans, and so, you know, an extra couple 100,000 Russian soldiers died for absolutely no reason.
You're talking about the First World War?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it was the First World War. It's kind of, you know,
yeah, that is my point exactly. All of this happened within the context of the First World War, man.
That's true.
This is not an isolated incident. The idea that it was like, oh, there was...
For a second, I got to talk to him for a minute.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm going to get Alice. I got to get Alice.
So in other words, but as far as, I mean, what happened. But what they're trying to achieve, now? What's the point? Socialist Alternative? I'm always baffled.
The aim is not to repeat Lenin.
Okay.
The aim is to supersede Lenin.
Supersede. That's a noble idea. But how do you think you'll be able to achieve that?
We don't want to repeat Lenin's tactics.
Uh-huh.
Repeat Lenin's, to repeat, we're not Russia, all right? America is a very different country. What we aim to do is to repeat the spirit of Lenin. The thing that sets Lenin apart now is that he represents revolution itself. If you reject Lenin, then you reject revolution. Because revolutions are dangerous. Revolutions are uncontrollable. To say that like the Bolsheviks were in control of the Russian Revolution is to deny the agency of the Russian people who made the revolution.
Honestly, you know what? I'm sure we sold like quite a bit already over here. So
the most dangerous thing you could do right now is to deny even the possibility of revolution. Because what you're saying is that change is impossible, in which case we're all doomed anyway.
I'm just asking questions. I mean, I'm living here in America, minding my own business, and then I see this table and I see Lenin. To be honest with you, I came from USSR originally. Whenever I see Lenin, I mean, to you it's just the books. To me, it was the reality of so-called socialism. So, I mean, now you're here with the books, with the subscriptions, whatever, and you're trying to change something. So you mentioned the change. I'm happy with, more or less what we have over here. You want to dramatically change. So that.
I think you'll find that most people my age are not happy with the way that things are right now.
Okay,
most people my age are struggling.
Struggling.
Generation, we don't have the same benefits that people of your generation.
Think about what you said.
We don't have.
Are you talking about the benefit? Sorry for interrupting you. I mean, when you say benefits, wouldn't it kind of make more sense in my mind to talk about the opportunities, not the benefits? So do you believe in the government that will provide you with everything from cradle to grave?
Do I believe in a government that
provided with everything from cradle to grave? You do?
No, in communism there won't be a government. Like the ideal is communism, and communism is a stateless society.
So your ultimate goal is communism, in other words.
I'm a communist.
Who can't defend
Not everyone in
themselves,
Socialist Alternative is
against
communist,
a
but
sexist
I think
boss
everyone is some kind of socialist.
So when you say that you are a communist, then and you're saying that change is needed. So I assume that you're talking about change towards communism, right? From capitalism that we have here to communism. Is that right?
That's a simplification, but yeah, basically.
Basically. And how do you think that can be accomplished?
Jesus, man, that's a big question.
Of course, it's a big question. I mean,
I'd say for me, I think the most important thing.
You're
is
saying labor struggle.
Yes,
Okay.
I think for me, the only thing that will bring lasting change in the United States is building the power of the unions again.
Of the unions.
That would be the biggest difference. Social movements like #MeToo, like the Fight for 15, which we're involved in, I think they're incredibly important. I think ultimately power happens the closest to the circuits of capital, the closest to where people actually make a profit, which is the workplace. So for me, I think that's a prerequisite. As for exactly how we achieve it,
we're not. We're the party that got Shama Sawan elected.
Yeah,
how did you hear about
if you go into it with this, say, 5-year plan.
Yeah, well, I guess so. You follow her a lot, or
no one can predict the
that is
future.
awesome. No, that's really
I understand, but look, when you have a goal, right? And then when I set a goal for myself, I have to think about the methods of achieving that goal. So what are your methods of achieving communism and transition from capitalism to communism? I mean, have you thought through?
It's getting more and more unaffordable, here. But part of it is we need to start a mass movement.
I mean,
mass movement brought
do we have democracy now? It's a republic. We have democracy, but there's no communism. So I don't understand. So more democracy
small donation of $2.
Communism is basically economic democracy.
No, absolutely. No,
We
that's
have
fine.
political
I mean, we also have this
sort
as
of.
well. This is our backorder issue.
America is not an especially good
So you can just read that. You don't have to pay for anything.
And I won't get
we
into
just want our
democracy versus republic question. Economic democracy.
Okay, but how can you accomplish that? Again, in the broad brushstrokes. Obviously, I'm not asking you for a detailed plan, but I mean, generally speaking, let's say I'm in furniture business. For me, the plan is to make more money, to be more profitable, is, to buy a particular type of product, to market it properly, to have more customers. I mean, that's kind of my plan to achieving my goals, let's say sales goals. You're talking about obviously much bigger thing, like changing the entire system. And your concept is, I mean, I haven't heard kind of a plan as to how we're going to achieve that.
I mean, what you're asking for is a concrete plan for achieving something that has never been achieved before, and you want me to explain it to you in a couple of minutes.
Basically, yeah, I mean, it should be possible. No, but it should be possible. Again, if you have an idea, a specific idea, it should be possible in a couple of minutes, in the broadest brush strokes, to explain how it can be done.
Well, I'll explain to you the only way it will be done, and that's by organizing.
Yeah, of course.
Organizing.
Organizing. Yes.
So you organize what? Every American, in other words, right? Because we're talking about changing the system.
No, not every American.
How many
Working Americans? I mean, I'm not too interested in organizing the billionaires, for example.
What are you going to do with them? What are you going to do with them?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to do anything with them. I mean, the idea of organizing is to show people how they can do things for themselves. You see, like, that's kind of the meaning of democracy, right?
But what if I disagree? I mean, I've been living here long enough, it's not free.
What's that?
It's not free.
Oh, I haven't asked any questions yet.
Even though they're socialists, still not free. I'm kidding. I'm trying to promote my version of socialism.
It's all good.
Just kidding.
What's your version of socialism?
Well, there isn't such a thing as socialism. It has never existed.
So you didn't come from a socialist country?
In name only. Of course, well, in name only. I mean, I can call America a paradise. Will it become a paradise just because I call it a paradise? No. So socialism, in the strict definition of socialism, never really existed. So what USSR is like, look at DPRK. You know what this acronym stands for, right?
Yeah, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Right. So does D make sense in North Korea, for North Korea?
Oh, so we're asking for $3.
D, the first letter of the acronym, does it make sense? The D?
No.
No.
I also wouldn't say that they're socialist.
No, but that's besides the point. The reason I'm bringing it up is because the USSR, one of the S's, stood for socialism. But it had nothing to do with socialism. It was a totalitarian state in every sense of this word. They decided to call themselves socialists, but it had nothing to do with socialism. I mean, if we use the words and the definitions, there's not a definition. Totalitarian state. So that's the country that I lived in. So my point is, there has never existed even socialism. And they're talking about built-in communism.
So we're also having public meetings as well.
Building socialism is transitionary stage.
And if you want to get in touch with
I know, we read Marx. We had to read Marx. I mean, I'm very, very well familiar with all these works of Lenin, but we had to. I forgot everything, of course. Nothing made sense.
For a small donation of $2 here.
I think I agree with you, though, broadly, in that I don't think that the states of the Eastern Bloc were communist, because the communist state is what's a contradiction in terms. And I think that at one point they were socialist, very early on, but that very quickly ended, and they became bureaucratized. And instead of a top-down socialism, it was a very odd sort of, a bottom-up socialism, like a democratic socialism.
Hey.
It was a very top-down authoritarian.
Good. Yourself? Good.
Are you making a documentary or something?
Yeah, about socialism, socialists. You don't mind it, right?